staying in the UK, steel production is back in the headlines. Here's Charles again with the details.
Thanks, Mike. Steel returns to the headlines a few months after there was an enormous amount of panic about measures to keep the plant at Scunthorpe going, belonging to British Steel, and we're now told that the UK has introduced new trade measures to support the steel sector. Now, this government document saying that they are aiming to better protect domestic industry from unforeseen surges in foreign imports as part of the plan for change. Now, that reads rather like it's something aimed at China, perhaps at the behest of Donald Trump. They also talk about delivering on the government's commitment to rebuild Britain's industrial strength. Now, this is really the fallout from a document published just last week, which is the new trade strategy from the UK. And really the most significant parts of it, if any of it is to be taken at face value, is really to look where it's come from and what its aims are. And of course, in fact, when you read that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor are committed to growing the economy and decarbonising our businesses and infrastructure, the entire aim looks completely untenable because, of course, those two things would appear to be in conflict with one another. Now, pulling the strings behind the scenes here is Poppy Gustafsson, Baroness Gustafsson as she now is, the Minister of State for Investment. And the reason that she's worth mentioning is that she was parachuted into the House of Lords for this particular role, coming from the cybersecurity company Darktrace. And of course, Darktrace was in the headlines last year for the bizarre coincidence of the deaths of its founders, Mike Lynch and Stephen Chamberlain, within hours of each other in very strange circumstances, one might say, but also because of Gustafsson's links to GCHQ, among others, and indeed her critical place in pushing AI for the government. And I think noteworthy at this point to mention that Darktrace's motto, let's say, on their website is cybersecurity that learns you. Now, what that has to do exactly with British Steel at the moment perhaps is less than clear, but the emergency legislation has quite clearly changed the direction of British Steel. We're looking at their website now, and they have a news item from the 19th of June saying there's been a £22 million project to enhance UK infrastructure and national security supported by British Steel. So, of course, they're now saying on their website that their primary goal is to deliver strategic, environmental and economic resilience for key strategic areas of the UK manufacturing economy, including defence, transport and energy. Now, this is under the banner of something called Ignite, which stands for Indigenous Green Steel for Net Zero Innovation, Technology and Enterprise. Now, this is a big change of direction for British Steel, and it does absolutely reinforce the point that the government have very much changed the way in which this industry is going to be able to operate. And this is in collaboration with Swansea University, exploring how cutting-edge university research can accelerate industrial decarbonisation. This word, again, which really doesn't seem to fit with manufacturing as we think we know it. Now, this is only really a brief look at what has been going on. There's a lot more detail to go into, particularly concerning the situation with trade relations in the United States and the history going back to the recent tariff situations, the sort of tariff wars instigated by Trump. Now, for more of an update on this, please go to the UK Column website and look out an article I wrote entitled The Steel Trap, which will give you further detail on this. And of course, this does form a very key part of where we are set against the Strategic Defence Review and indeed the National Security Strategy, because the effort here is to link everything together in order to coordinate the population and effectively give the government carte blanche to do things under the banner of national security.
Well, thank you very much to Charles for that. And we're going to end the programme today. Back to Sandy. Well, what's James Dyson been up to?
Well, I wish he'd stick to hoovers. I mean, I once had one of his hoovers, and it was the most overly engineered piece of equipment I've ever had. And I feel the same way about what he's doing in the UK right now. He's just launched his new Future of Food vertical growing system in Carrington in Leicestershire this week. It's a 26-acre glass structure, a Ferris wheel that's 5.5 metres high, sort of like a big rotating rig with optimised LED light exposure with robotics, UV pest control, climate automation, all singing, all dancing, technocratic nightmare, I call it. The point is that this is a technocratic takeover of our farming, into corporate hands. So I've got a video here of the way he sees the future of farming. So if we can have that.
We need to produce food in England. We asked a group of engineers at Dyson what they could do. One of the things we came up with was a vertical growing system.
I think this is the biggest rig, 24 metres long, 5.5 metres tall. Each wheel's 500 kilograms.
It's like having a child. Every single bolt I've got a relationship with.
We import all our strawberries in England, except in the height of the summer season. So what I've done is to build 2 huge greenhouses, and from that we can produce the tastiest strawberries you could imagine all year round.
Different growing system to get much, much higher density fruit in a covered environment. This is stacking strawberries up across these multiple levels. The challenge you then get is light levels and shadowing and making sure that the leaf and the leaf canopy gets enough sunlight to really develop. Make sure every plant gets the maximum natural energy from the sun so we can use as little energy as possible, supplementing that with the LED lights.
How can we make it more efficient? What technology can we bring in that will improve the quality, the taste of the food, use the land better so that we can invest further and make a difference to farming?
Got a very high accuracy CO2 sensor, relative humidity and temperature, and then on the top there, this is the apogee power sensor. So that detects only the wavelengths that the strawberry plant is interested in, and then we know how much we need to top up with our artificial light.
We get a 2.5 times uplift in the output of the greenhouses. This vertical growing system will allow farmers to produce the very best food in England and make Britain more secure in its own food production. We've got wonderful land and we should be able to grow everything we eat.
Well, I don't know what you feel about that, but when our farmers are being dispossessed of their land and the natural resources like soil and sun are being covered with renewable energy centres and data centres, we've got this artificial, unnatural way of farming, which I'm sure those strawberries look particularly nutrient deficient to me. And the whole thing is very expensive to run. It's madness, yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Well, I'm quite sure we'll talk about that in extra. There's lots to discuss today. We are out of time for now, though. I'm going to say sorry again for the technical issue at the beginning of the programme. So we're running a little bit late at the moment, but we'll be back in a few minutes if you're a UK Column member for UK Column News Extra. Alex Krill will be sticking with us for that. So do join us in a few minutes. Otherwise, we will see you on Friday, as usual, at 1 p.m. See you then. Bye-bye.